Hello, everybody. Welcome to XM live trading session in the advanced room for Battle of the Stocks. Surprise, surprise. New trader in the game here in the house, Gil Pass. Big hello, Gil. Great to see you, Stanley, again. How are you guys doing? How are you, Gil?
That that's an old trader, actually the
Yes.
initiator of the session.
Yes, yes. So I've been away for 1 month and now back again. Actually, very excited. And you will see when I share my screen, I still have a stock open on the short side that goes bigger and bigger in profit. So
Oh, that I know which
I
one
know
that
that you
is.
know. Yeah, so I can show that also on shorts you can make money on stocks, not only on long trades. And
Yeah.
I would even argue short trades can be better,
Faster.
faster and better. And you know, many stocks they go to zero. We just don't hear from them when they fall out of the index. Um, and actually, because I was afraid of my short trades, I closed, for example, Adobe way too early, and Adobe continues to fall down. So I could have a much bigger profit there as well. So I'm very excited to be back here. Looking for a lot of trades. We are in the middle of the earnings season, so this is absolute great. We have, I think, just today before market open, we had yesterday after market close of course, a couple of huge companies announcing quarterly reports, and we have also before market opening today a lot of companies with quarterly reports. So we should have a ton of action.
Yeah. There are a lot of companies and great activity recently we see. But how are you, Stanley? How things are going on for the stocks?
I'm also very excited to be here. I think that we're gonna make a very good combo, three of us, and it's always going to be exciting, with good suggestions, always new recommendations. A recommendation for instruments for the viewers, just to keep in mind that we don't recommend any particular direction or investment advice. Recommendation for instruments, and of course, it's up to you guys whether you follow if it matches your criteria, psychology, trading style, and all type of the tick boxes that you have to check before you execute a position. Yesterday, uh, Magnificent 3 report earnings. Today we have a lot of pre-market earnings. Allegro, Caterpillar, Southwest, Nokia, Blackstone, which is having some very good performers, and I do look forward to this session. And also, it is post-Fed meeting. Me and Gil had the chance to discuss about this, so I'm gonna get back to you, Juni, if there is anything about last night event that it was a little bit, let's say, it made a good impression or bad impression, and just a general overview of it.
We've discussed the expectations on our previous meeting. I don't think something special happened since then. Since our discussion, it's expected that they're not going to cut rates, and I don't expect they to sound very hawkish, even though they confirm great economy and etc. as usually they do. Um, what is actually interesting that maybe a little bit grabbed my attention is their comment for crypto, for Bitcoin. Other than that, nothing big, let's say, that will be surprise or that it's new. Keeping an eye, following the data, following the developments, and we will see for the future events. Market reaction was not big. There was no drops, crashes, nothing. It was like very low volatility. Some people even call it non-event. There was some movement, so no.
it, it was it was me and Gil calling it non-event
Yes.
only.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like non-event basically. The movements were very
They said
short.
the same things that they
Yeah.
were saying
They
previously.
usually
It could
yeah.
have been an event. I was expecting to be an event if Powell gets into the trap of talking about Trump, provoking him to cut rates, etc. But it just could have been.
I think
So
he's very experienced and not falling in traps very easily. So
I think that for the last 13 years, I don't know anybody that has been so solid job on the interviews on the Q&A. I mean, Janet Yellen was stuttering and she was repeating the same thing, sometimes reading from a script. This guy is absolute. I mean, he's a very compatible for this position. My personal opinion, but and maybe I was not as experienced back then as I'm right now, but I think he's doing some good job as well. What's your take?
yeah, he's doing good, staying good. Nothing can say. I not that I didn't like Janet Yellen's volatility back then, but yeah, he's quite good.
Yes.
Look,
So
every central bank chief has another, I think, another legacy. So we had Ben Bernanke, who was the hero of the big financial crisis. We had
Right.
before that even Alan Greenspan, who was a real legend and made probably central banking to rock stars. Then we had Ben Bernanke, who really saved the big financial crisis, and central banking became even more rock stars. And then we had Janet Yellen, and Janet Yellen actually, her only job was to stop quantitative easing. And Jerome Powell had the legacy of raising interest rate after a very long period of time. The first time he did in 2018 by mistake too early, which created quite a big correction in the market. But after Corona, when inflation really came, it was the right time, and he definitely learned from his mistakes in 2018. And again, what I said in our previous sessions then, Jerome Powell, he's an amazing lawyer. He knows exactly how to word everything. And yeah, that's his job. He does good.
he also anticipated 2019 repo market blew off
Hmm.
back then. So I think he has great experience. That's why they choose him again. He's doing good job.
Yeah.
Um,
Also
and
something very
when he translates, sorry for interrupting you, when he translates
no, I
for
interrupted you.
some changes, he's doing it very smoothly, gradually. Even when they change the narrative, it's so well planned that almost never makes shocks and emotions so much, which is actually the good thing that U.S. Central Bank is doing compared to the other central banks. Like they are not doing those surprises. They make we call it mistakes. I don't know if it's not planned. Let's say about the inflation back then, that they were calling it transitory inflation. It actually, we all were discussing on the live sessions that it doesn't look like it's not inflation, that it's going to stop. And so they were always saying that it's transitory, it's going to get back. The data suggests this and that, and they admitted that they were wrong. I think the entire world was knowing that they were wrong back then, but they did it so smoothly, so very well changed the narrative, and they are doing it right now also. Um, so yeah, how do you see on that context the stock market in general? Then we dive into the stocks I suggest.
Stan, should I start?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
By
ahead.
the way, we have from Houseguest a question about double top, I assume, in Bitcoin. We can discuss this. But look, I see the US economy looks very strong. I think with the new government, there will come other impulses that are strong as well. I'm positive for the US market. Now, on purpose, I say for the US economy, the stock market could fall. And the reason is the Magnificent Seven have a very strong weight on the markets, and they could come down. Their weight is historically high, and they are priced in for the best case scenario And if the best case scenario is not happening, we see big correction, and this is exactly what we saw with Nvidia. So I would say, I don't know if the stock market is going up, but I would say most companies should go up, at least in the S&P 500. Different story in Russell, where there are smaller companies, but in the S&P 500, I think in general they will do good.
Stanley?
Nvidia not seeing an all-time high anytime soon. I think that the event that we got on Monday, it's very healthy for the whole thing, but it's not very healthy for Nvidia. We have Alibaba with also artificial intelligence that is beating the previous one. So we're gonna get more and more and more of those. And we're far away from Nvidia earnings. I also don't expect for earnings to be something massive that we haven't seen so far, and we recently anticipate multiple declines there. I'm kind of bearish on AI at the moment, or at least on the popular companies that are. Your microphone is triggering just
Mine?
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
it's like radio signal.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe it's my phone is too close. How is it now? Still?
No, okay, I'll tell you in a few minutes, maybe from now until like you got it every once in a while. Okay,
I throw my mobile
moving on.
phone far away. That should be better.
Yes, probably a signal thing. So I like to shorten video really, and probably something that I'm going to do in today's session since we have the opportunity. I will try to approach it as an intraday position, but I would not exclude to keep it as a swing trade. The earning report is going to take place on the 26th of February, which is going to be like a few weeks from now. Luckily for us, is going to be a time that we trade together. So on the 26th Wednesday, we have Nvidia earnings after market close, and on the 27th, three of us will be together. Gil, you're here for the whole quarter,
Yes,
right?
I am.
Yes. So we'll see how will that go. I have been shorting several times before earnings. Actually, the last two times, and both of them have played pretty well. The first time it was traded a week, if you remember, and I wanted to short it. We got like 20% drop of Nvidia, and the other time I got like about 10%. Also, from technical perspective, it's a very good distribution phase. That the latest event that we have is a false breakout on the upside. So from technical perspective, also completely comply with my requirements for trading. So it's not only um, the bias or edge, right, that I have as per my analysis, but it's also technically looks pretty good. And you see, there is no significant buying. At the same time, Apple all of a sudden awakened, and we got massive performers in the last few days. Something that I personally see some dead cat bounce, but we'll analyze those two. What do you guys think, Nvidia? And maybe we share a little bit about
and let's
Apple
also
too.
check the question that we had before in the chat about Bitcoin. Just even though.
And also, yeah, hello to Ank Bayar from YouTube. Everybody that's watching us from YouTube, just use the chat. So, Juni Bitcoin?
Okay, let's open Bitcoin. I am quite bullish on Bitcoin. Top-down approach. Let's say I'm long-term bullish on Bitcoin still. No major changes, in my opinion, on the cryptos, especially on Bitcoin. Short-term volatility is quite possible. And the reason of this short-term volatility that we anticipate and that potentially can still continue a little bit, it's that Bitcoin was ahead itself a little bit. And not that it's bearish, just there is too much bullish bounce that happened too much euphoria we had here. That's why often Bitcoin after this rallies, it stays flat until it makes its own way up. I don't see any bearishness for Bitcoin. I don't see any reason to decline fundamentally, technically. I have zero bearish, let's say, major swing expectations. Short term, checking the technicals, we are still in this consolidation. Very interesting pattern is forming basically here